You always did tend to burn the candle at both ends, William. General William Pendergast, the Deputy Director of Foundation Contingency Planning Operations, looked up. His unexpected visitor was a patrician, tall and imperially thin, his once black hair now liberally streaked with gray. Seven, as the man was called, based on his numerical designation, was one of the Foundation's overseers. "Sir, it's late," Pendergast said, though the hour was not so late as it was early. "What brings you out to Site 11 at this time of night?" His visitor took a long, slow breath on his cigarette, in flagrant violation of the Foundation's smoke-free workplace policy. "This and that, General. You've been doing a fine job here, by the way." "Thank you, sir." "Does the number 798-12108 mean anything significant to you, William?" the overseer asked, taking a seat. "Yes, sir, several things," the general replied. Pendergast did his best to not look disapprovingly at his superior smoking. Never of ice he had entertained himself, as he hated the smell of the damned things. "Specifically, the contingency planning operation with that designation," elaborated Seven, exhaling. "Assume aliens which could be considered Keter attempt an invasion. How do we stop them and all that?" Pendergast said. "Last updated back in 1988, was it?" "89, corrected his guest. "But most of the legwork was done in 88, yes. I'm glad to see your memory is as good as ever." "I wasn't involved in drafting that report, sir," General Pendergast observed. "No, you were an Air Force major, working at the Pentagon, who had never heard of the Foundation. And I was, well, that's a long time ago," Seven observed. Though Pendergast was still in his 50s, Seven was closer to 70 than 60. "The reason I bring this up is that several members of the O5 Council, myself included, believe this exercise needs updating. It has, after all, been 2 decades." "Yes, sir," Pendergast replied. "Sir, if I may ask, why the back channels?" "I need you to put a formal request in writing to the Council. Those of us who feel this way aren't a majority. You know how it is. A couple of the hardline science types who don't want resources taken away from their pet projects for poking and prodding things. Though extensive, funded in no small degree by several lucrative patents held by shell companies, the Foundation's budget was by no means limitless, something Pendergast understood from spending a third of his time fighting for his budget in seemingly endless meetings. And if you get a formal suggestion for re-upping a 22-year-old analysis, you'll be able to convince the fence-sitters to side with you," Pendergast said, finishing his superior's thought. "Precisely," Pendergast continued. "And if this formal suggestion comes from my office, without any apparent suggestion from you, or those who agree with you, you won't owe the fence-sitters favors next time they want something." Taking a puff on his cigarette, the overseer chuckled. "Well, we do pay you to spot the subtle details and speak the uncomfortable truths, so I don't suppose I can object too loudly when you apply that to the Foundation's own internal politics." "I'll have a formal request drawn up in time for next Monday's council meeting?" Pendergast asked. Seven exhaled and used the stub of his cigarette to light a new one. "That will do nicely, General," he said, standing. "Good night, William." "Good night, sir," Pendergast replied, but his guest was already gone. From General William Pendergast, Deputy Director of Foundation Contingency Planning, To O5 Council. Subject: Proposed Contingency Planning Operation. Overseers. It has come to my attention that it has been nearly 23 years since the last major Foundation low probability, high impact analysis was performed regarding the possibility that hypothetical extraterrestrials' intelligences, unknown, displaying vigorous, active hostility to human life and or civilization, might attempt to conquer, enslave, or exterminate humanity. Reference Foundation Planning Operation 798121008, January 13th, 1989. In that time, significant technological advances and geopolitical shifts have occurred. Accordingly, Foundation contingency protocols for such an event are woefully insufficient. Though the likelihood of hostile actions by extraterrestrial intelligences unknown within the near future is remote, the consequences for human civilization, should such actions occur, would be nothing short of dire. While both world governments and various groups of interest, such as the Global Occult Coalition, can be reasonably expected to respond to major attacks against this planet and its civilization, the Foundation is and must be the first and best line of defense for humanity. I propose the immediate commencement of a contingency planning operation, proposed numerical reference number 839100301, in which the Foundation will update its plans coordinated through my office, but spanning disciplines and departments. I propose the following facilities be involved. Overwatch HQ, operating both its usual oversight and coordination roles. Research Sector 15, as the Foundation's primary facility for research and experimentation, devoted to determining methods for destroying dangerous SCP objects. It is uniquely suited to the discussion of destructive countermeasures towards extraterrestrial entities. Site 11 has both the primary intelligence center and the location of my office and directorate. This facility is best suited for taking the lead on this contingency planning operation. Site 19. The participation of Site 19's research and scientific staff would be necessary for this project's successful conclusion. Armed Research Site 45. As the primary facility for weaponization of SCP objects, this site would be critical in any planetary defense initiative. I propose the following task force be involved, recognizing that analysis is not their primary function, but believing this operation to overlap with their mandates. Mobile Task Force Gamma 5, aka they're on our side, sir, tasked with public misinformation and damage control. Gamma 5 would play a significant role in the Foundation's management of media should hostile extraterrestrial actions occur. Mobile Task Force Iota 10, aka Damn Feds, assigned to intercept SCP-related reports and disrupt SCP-related investigations by local law enforcement agencies. Iota 10 would be critical in the Foundation's coordination of local agencies in the event of hostile extraterrestrial actions. Reconnaissance Force Kappa 6, aka Angel Eyes, as one of the Foundation's main espionage-related task force, Kappa 6 would likely be the first part of the Foundation to become aware of covert, hostile extraterrestrial actions. I further propose the involvement of a rapid response task force, assuming availability permits. I thank the Council for its consideration of this matter. Signed, William Pendergast. From 057, on behalf of 05 Council, to General William Pendergast, Deputy Director of Foundation Contingency Planning Operations, RE Proposed CPO 83910301. Contingency Planning Operation approved. Codename designation Project Heimdall. Research potential means by which extraterrestrial intelligence displaying vigorous actively hostility to human life and or civilization might attempt to conquer, enslave, or exterminate humanity. Analyze likely outcomes, develop countermeasures and contingency plans. Report findings to O5 Council when complete. Pendergast thought, reading the reply from the O5 Council. Heimdall, the Norse god who kept watch for Ragnarok. Very apt. He picked up his phone to get the ball rolling. There was a lot of work to do. Project Executive Summary, Project Heimdall. Project Mission. Project Heimdall is a cross-disciplinary, high-impact, low-probability contingency analysis with 3 primary objectives. Research potential means by which extraterrestrial intelligence displaying vigorous, active hostility to human life and or civilization might attempt to conquer, enslave, or exterminate humanity, analyze likely outcomes, and develop countermeasures and contingency plans. Key assumptions. Extraterrestrial intelligence will display vigorous, active hostility to human life and or civilization. 2. Hostile extraterrestrials, HEs, will possess no technology forbidden by the laws of physics. While numerous SCPs exist which operate in manners that are forbidden by the laws of physics, these are less than completely understood exceptions and have accordingly not supplanted the generally accepted laws of physics, even among Foundation researchers. Speculation of impossible technologies make for entertaining soft science fiction, but not good analysis grounded in scientific fact. 3. Unless their goal is simply to destroy civilization and or life, human or otherwise, on Earth, any attempt by hostile extraterrestrials to attack the planet will necessarily be limited to the level of damage that it will cause to the biosphere. 4. Attempts by HEs to conquer, enslave, or exterminate humanity can either be overt, exemplia gratia armed invasion, or covert, exempli gratia infiltration. 5. Knowledge of any overt attempt by HEs to conquer, enslave, or exterminate humanity will be impossible to contain from the world at large. 6. Simple solutions to attempts by HEs to conquer, enslave, or exterminate humanity will prove insufficient. From General William Pendergast, Deputy Director of Foundation Contingency Planning Operations, to O5 Council, RECPO 8391-0301, Project Heimdall. Attached. Please find my team's compilation of the materials related to Project Heimdall, CPO 8391-0301. It is my hope that these report will prove sufficient should the high-impact, low-probability event described therein occur,